Alrighty, so one of the new Pokemon that you can find out in rounds 5 and 6 is Meowth. Meowth is actually a rather decent normal type. Usually normal types aren't really that good. Some of them are really well balanced. Not quite so with this one though. It may be hard to raise at first because of its lackluster stats, but all of it makes up with speed. In fact, later on, if used correctly, Meowth, when it fully evolves, it probably becomes one of the fastest normal types in the game. So if you want to have a really fast normal type, Meowth is your guy. Alright, so out in Diggle's cave, the two Pokemon you can find out here is Diglett, 95% of the time. This thing, as I said before in my video, it is one of the ultimate revenge killers. While its HP isn't the best one out there, since it only has like a lot of lackluster amount of HP, look at its speed. When it fully evolves, it becomes the fastest ground type in the game. So yeah, you want to know how deadly it is? Just take a look at Dugtrio. So Dugtrio is the fastest ground type Pokemon in the game. It is really dangerous out there. It has a sheer low number of health, but all of it makes up with attack and speed. And all I can really say is, despite them being moles, they're really quick. Not quite sure how that's possible, but yeah, I'm not complaining in the slightest. Now that we've gotten the old rod, the Pokemon that you're very likely going to run into is Magikarp. Magikarp, it is considered to be the weakest Pokemon of them all, because the only move that it knows at this point is Splash, until level 15, where it learns Tackle. Its stats, as you can see, are pretty pathetic, except for defense and somehow speed. Not quite sure how that's possible, especially for a weak fish, but jeez, it could be pretty quick. It's going to be hard to raise up to its final evolution, but if you can somehow, good Pokemon. Now, the one new Pokemon that you can find out in round 11, you can find Drowsy. Drowsy, I don't really recommend as much as Abra does. It's not that especially offensive, it's more especially defensive. If you really want to have a decent special wall, Drowsy could be a pretty good Pokemon to have. But like I said, the only downside is, it's not a really good psychic type to anyone's imagination. I just only recommend this Pokemon if you want to have a special wall. Now from that Spearow trade that we did, we will have Farfetch right here. But like I said in the video, it is one of the saddest Pokemon in the game. It has some terrible stats, and the only thing that it's known for is just for helping you complete the Pokédex. While its stats are pretty balanced, all I can have to say, this one has really terrible moves in that it learns, and its moves just don't really back up the stats that it has. So in other words, Farfetch sucks horribly. I do not recommend this Pokemon for anyone. If you went and did that Abra trade from Route 2, we would get Mr. Mime. Mr. Mime is actually a pretty good Pokemon. Unlike many psychic types, this one is actually more balanced out than before. It's mostly a good special defender, but used correctly, this thing also becomes a really good wall for both defense and special defense. In fact, if you teach it Barrier, oh boy, it'll be great to have. The problem is, some of the moves that it learns don't really suit it that well. So I guess if you want to have a pretty interesting psychic type on your team, I guess I could recommend Mr. Mime.